The strangers, believe me when I say, loving me is loving danger. Your heart is bound to break. I walk alone in the night, beneath the pale moon. Loving's for the fools. Baby, beware of my bite. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf, I'm a lone wolf, I'm a lone wolf, I'm a lone wolf, I'm a creeping through the shadows in the corners of your mind. till the wind blows. I run but I don't hide. I hear the call of the wild, whispering the name. No, I can't be tamed. My heart belongs to the night. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm a lone wolf. 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 I'm a
Alright guys, sorry I'm late. I slept in, to be honest. I've been burning it at both ends, quite literally. Renos, working, doing YouTube, it's been a lot. And poor little panda me decided to sleep in and not wake up, because apparently my alarm didn't go off. So yeah, so that happened. But anyway, alright. Today we're going to try and keep it to around an hour, maybe an hour and a half, just because of the fact that I do have to go to work this afternoon and yikes. Okay, so apparently my webcam has died. Okay, that should work. Let's try Facebook again. So you guys sick of winning yet? Because I'll tell you what, it's starting to get really hard. All this winning that we're doing, you can see on the screen what we're going to talk about. Alright. So apparently I still have no chat on the side of my side. I have no idea what's going on, but yeah, no worries. But anyway, let's jump into it, guys. Let's break down the news. Let's kick this puppy and let's just start. Because sooner we start, sooner I can go to bed again. Alright. So guys, some of you may have remembered that we actually covered Boriss Yeltsin's court case that was pending court case about a month ago. As you may remember, this was right in coming up towards, I think, right after the election or something like that. It was right after... hey, chat just kicked in. Yay, there we go. Theresa May had just finished resigning. People were worried that Boriss Yeltsin was going or Boris Johnson, sorry, was going to go through and actually take over running the Tories, which would have been really, really bad because apparently he wants a Brexit and they don't want that. And they were a bit concerned that Boris Johnson would go through and take leadership of the Tories and bring through that hard Brexit that the rest of the country seems to want. You know, those articles written by Boris Johnson's a bad idea. And then subsequently, he went through and they started throwing him into court. They were going to charge him over his slanderous lies. And at the time I said that was very, very considerate, very, very conspicuous. Just on the fact that, you know, like, that just right as he's like gaining popularity and people are saying, yeah, let's get Boris Johnson involved because he'll give us the hard Brexit and you know, really going through and really pushing this Brexit because, you know, we hadn't had the elections at that stage, which, by the way, have you noticed all the remainders have been very quiet lately? But, you know, point that fact. But it just really seemed to be that everything was teeing up to get Boris Johnson, and then this court case came out of the blue. This faces court case over $350 million Brexit bus claim. So what did Boris Johnson actually say on the bus? Well, this is the interesting thing, and I haven't got it coming up on the screen, but he basically turned around and he wrote that the $350 million that they give to the NHS, that they give to Brussels, would much rather go to NHS. I'm paraphrasing it here. Here, we send the EU 350, so 300, it's supposed to be 350 million. It's been cut off because of the photo. Let's fund the NHS instead. Right? And that was his simple claim. The end of the day, oops, too far. The simple claim at the end of the day was that, that we're giving all this money to Brussels, so why don't we go through and fund the national health system over in the UK? Well, it's funny because they wanted to throw him in court over these claims. And anyway, they took him to court. And Boris Johnson won't face court case over $350 million Brexit bus claims, as judge takes just 5 minutes to quash Remainder campaign's nonsense and politically motivated crowdfunder prosecution. Does make you wonder what is going to happen with the rest of the money that they actually raised. Right? But anyway, let's jump into it. So Boris Johnson today won a High Court challenge against the court summons over the claims that he made the referendum campaign that the EU receives $350 million a week from the UK. The former Foreign Secretary legal team challenged the summons for him to attend the Westminster Magistrates Court as they blocked a controversial private prosecution by campaigner Marcus Bowell. Mr. Bowell, a Remainder, has been trying to prosecute the Conservative leadership for 3 allegations of misconduct in a public office. But he will now not face court after 2 High Court judges barely took 5 minutes to squash the case. So his lawyer said that District Judge Margaret Cullum erred in law by issuing the summons and agreed the attempt to prosecute him was the accumulation of a politically driven process. This is an important victory for Mr. Johnson, as this is a bid to the next Prime Minister gathers pace, and that's what this is all about. Theresa May formally stepped down as leader of the Conservative Party today, and Mr. Johnson warned that the next leader of the country must deliver Brexit or risk losing the general election. Which I would agree with, by the way. He spoke the morning after Brexit Party narrowly lost the Peterborough by-election to Labour, and Nigel Farage vowed to split the Conservative vote by contesting the general election if Brexit is not delivered by October the 31st. Farage continues in a general election would likely make Jeremy Corbyn's path to number 10 easier by handing Tory seats to Labour in consistencies where a significant vote share would be gobbled up by the Brexit Party. Speaking outside of court today, Mr. Bowell said, "We have just given the green light for every politician to lie about our money forever. This is a terrifying idea." Asked about the funds raised and bringing the private prosecution, he added, "I've already spent more than I've raised." I'd like to see the funds on that. "And I've put myself in massive debt to do this," which I seriously doubt. Homeland Security Sadie Jivi tweeted, "I'm glad to see the court case against Boris Johnson thrown out. Freedom of speech feels increasingly challenged, and we should always seek to debate political arguments in open rather than close them down." And Brexiteer Conservative MP Bob Seeley responded to a tweet about the case being quashed, said, "Good, that made it this far was ridiculous." Now, the High Court was due to have broken at 1 p.m., but Lady Justice roughly instead told the Assembly of Lawyers and journalists don't go. Given the court's decision, sitting with Mr. Justice Superston, she said, "We are persuaded, Mr. Dopeshot, you are succeeded, and the relief that we grant is quashed on the summons." Speaking outside the court, Mr. Bell said, "We have to wait to the reason for the judge's decision. When we have those reasons, I'm going to make a decision on what to do next." Asked if he had a message from Mr. Johnson, Mr. Bell said, "You don't have the right to lie to the public about how their money is being spent." Now, the question I have to ask is he actually lying? Does the UK send Brussels 350 million a week? Because as far as I know, that's actually fairly accurate. Now, there are some, there's some things in there that are like, for example, tax deductions and whatnot, but let's see. Alright, so this is a Brexit exposed website. Right. So, Centros has actually done some research on this, so I would have liked to have had him in chat because he could have posted it. But my understanding is that they send them. Right, here it is. Yeah. Right, this is the fact check website. So be warned, this is going to be extremely left leaning. But the claim: if we vote to leave, then the 350 million we send to Brussels every week can be spent on priorities like the NHS. The background over there, I don't care about that. The analysis: by the time the in and out referendum takes place before the end of 2017, you may be sick of hearing about £350 million a week. Because it's a claim repeatedly endless in the votes, leaves, campaign material, and sure to surface again and again. The figure simply comes from taking Britain's gross annual contributions to the EU finances and dividing it by 52. That gross figure was $18.3 billion in 14 to 15, and according to the Office of the Budget Responsibility, or IRB, which worked out to just under $352 million a week. Now, there is a caveat to that. It looks like the gross contributions don't tell the whole story because we get about half of that money back. So about half of the £9 billion or so pounds, is returned via the rebate negotiated by Margaret Thatcher in 1984. Right? And this is something that I think Centros is saying in chat. Let's see if I can quickly find it. Right. No. I thought we talked about it, but I can't seem to find it. But yeah, here it is here. There it is. There's much evidence backing this up. Like we said, we spend 350 million, but the EU only gives us 125 million back. We can spend 300 million a week on so much other shit, like so much we could fix our other current problems. Now, this is what Centros has said in chat and Discord. So, technically, yes, you do pay, which is what he was actually claiming at the start. He said that you actually pay Brussels, or we send Brussels, $350 million. technically, he is right. Technically, you are sending them £350 million. You are getting a lot of it back. You are getting half of it back. But here's the thing. That's still 120 odd million pounds a week that you guys are sending to Brussels. Okay? I like the fact that the Remainder's argument is, oh, no, it's not 350 million pounds that we're sending them. We're only sending half of that because we get half of that back. Okay. How about the other 125 million pounds? What about that? You know, aren't you concerned that you're handing over 125 million pounds? But no, they just want to sit there and debate and this is what the left does. They debate things and they try and make things general, and the right does it too, I must admit. But at the end of the day, technically Boriss was right. Boriss claimed that you send Brussels £350 million a week. Technically, he is right. But at the end of the day, he's wrong in the fact that you do get half of it back, or around half of it back. But here's the thing. That 125 million still could do a lot for your NHS. It could still do a lot for your schools, for your hospitals, for your roads, for your infrastructure. It could still do a lot to help a country. And that's the point. That's the thing that they don't want you to focus on. They want you to focus on the fact that, oh, he lied, it's not 350 million pounds. Okay, how much is it? Oh, it's only 125. Okay, that's still 125 million pounds. Way too much, if you ask me. Unelected people are blackmailers, money launderers, and dictators. Yeah. I don't know who you're talking about there being unelected, but anyway. But yeah, and that's... Technically, Boriss was right. Because he said cent. I think he said cent, but yeah. He added, I would ask you, please, all members of parliament, to elect a representative. Understand you cannot lie to the public about their money. Oh, sorry, I've read that. Alright, yeah. Mr. Ball continued, I care about solving the problem. It seems melodramatic, but I'm willing to sacrifice myself because I care about solving the problem. In other words, he's going to sacrifice himself to the progressive altar. Later on in the tweet, Mr. Ball said, this is not over. Awaiting written reasons from the court before deciding next step, which I've already said, sorry. The only reason conclusion would be reached by a district judge was that the prosecution was politically motivated, therefore ventures. Mr. Jobshire told the court that this case clearly represented the face of it, that it would be neutral, a political-orientated attempt to prosecute a senior politician using common law offence for false statements in course of public debate, to use of which that offence had never been put in the country or any common law judiciary. He added that proposed private prosecution concerned an era of public life that has never previously been subject to the attention of the criminal law. Mr. Dobshire said the alleged offences relating to Mr. Johnson's adoption of the promotion of one of the central slogans of the Vote Leave campaign. He said the claim that we send 350 million a week to the EU and the intended party, Mr. Bowles says that the misleading and essentially and simply because it was the gross figure when the net figure was called for that, when it comes down to it. But here's the thing, and this is what we said. The claim was that we send $350 million. Guess what? The UK does. The UK absolutely does send $350 million to Brussels. Now, yes, it is true. They get half of it, or some, mostly half of it back. But at the end of the day, the original claim was they send $350 million. Guess what, Buttercup? It's true. You might like it, But at the end of the day, it's a true fact that yes, the UK does send 350 million. Yes, they do get half of it back. But that $125 million that you seemingly don't care about, or you're trying to get people not to worry about, imagine what it can do for your country. Imagine what sort of infrastructure, health systems, or public servants, or schools, or whatever it may be. So, I like the fact that, we're not worried about the 350. The 350 is the wrong number. Ah! Okay, what about the 125 million? What about that figure? What could the UK do with that? And that's the question that should be asked. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Alright. We're going to talk about this because this is a little concerning. The second GOP state senator discovered shot to death in 2 days. I think someone might be bumping off state senators. GOP state senators. This is a little concerning to me, but anyway. Oklahoma Republican State Senator John Nichols was found dead Friday, making him the second GOP state senator to be shot to death in the last 2 days. Police reportedly found Nichols, 53, dead by gunshot wound in Norman, Oklahoma, Wednesday night, and his death comes 2 days after police reportedly discovered former Arkansas Republican State Senator Linda Collins Smith dead from a gunshot wound and wrapped in some kind of blanket. The Oklahoma Medical Examiner Office is working with police investigators to determine Nichols' cause of death. Oklahoma Republican House Speaker Charles McCall released a statement after his death, the state paper reported. I'm shocked and incredibly saddened to learn that John has passed away, McCall said. It was a valuable member of my staff and a friend. Jonathan was a very proud man, but he served humbly. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I tend to get worried. I'm thinking that someone may be going around and bumping off state senators. What do you guys reckon? I find it unnerving, I think he's saying. I don't know, I can't read it. I find it unnerving that these state senators suddenly turn up dead with gunshot wounds. Yeah, Eric, it's a little weird, isn't it? GOP state senators seem to be dying left, right, and centre. I would like to know if the same gun was used. Because that, to me, says it could be a far leftist, for example, or someone on the far left, going around actually shooting state senators. And I would like to know, was it the same type of gun? Was it the same type of bullet? I do find it really weird. But, yeah. Yeah. Two former Republican lawmakers found shot dead at home in same week. 2 Republican state senators were found shot in their homes this week. First, former Arkansas State Senator Linda Collins Smith, 57, was found shot dead in her home several days after neighbors reportedly hearing gunshots. CBS News, her death has been reported as a homicide. So it's not like it's suicide or anything like that. The second GOP lawmaker found dead this week was Oklahoma State Senator John Nichols, who was found dead in his Normandy, Oklahoma home on Wednesday. A gun was found across the room on a table, according to the Oklahoman. Someone in the US, let me know, how far is Oklahoma? Well, there's that too. How far is that to that. Oh. And that one. So it's a 7-hour trip. It's doable by car. Probably less if you flew. It's definitely doable. Cost you $71 or $37 to $71 in gas. It's only 455 miles. Yeah, about that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 455 it was. Yeah. Less than a day's drive. It's weird because we're starting getting GOP senators winding up dead. I'll put this on the screen for you. Just so people on the video can... Yeah. Here it is here. 369 miles. So what does it say? 455. From Norman to Pocahontas. In the northwest direction, about 455. So yeah, actually you're right. 360, 370 by the looks. 7 hours apart. It's definitely doable. I don't know. What do you guys reckon? Do you reckon this is sus or what? I find you got to ask why are they looking into before they were killed. That is something I should look into actually. I might look into that over the weekend. What were these guys looking into that got them possibly killed? Was it like because at the note we know, for example, now we know that the William Barr is going after the Clintons and after the deep state. Were they part of his campaign? Is this a threat, for example? You know, did she work on William Barr's campaign against the deep state? Meet quotas in order to receive federal funds. I don't know what you meant by the meet quotas. See, also too, spacing them over 2 states tends to make people not put things together. It's like, apparently a lot of serial killers do that. They put them over like 2 different states so that the cops don't have the same files coming across their desks and stuff. I don't know. I just find it really weird that 2 Republican lawmakers are found dead. Or to me that just seems really, really weird. I don't know. What do you guys reckon? Guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Alright. Alright. So, gay couple beaten up for refusing to kiss for men's entertainment. This is actually quite disgusting, but anyway. This horrified picture shows a flight attendant and her girlfriend covered in blood after a gang of men attacked them when they refused to kiss for them. So apparently the homophobic attack happened on a London bus as the couple returned home from an evening out last month. I don't think it's homophobic. Okay, if the guys literally beat these women up because they wouldn't kiss, that tends to me to think that they're not homophobic. Melania, who lives in Bus Shop Stanford, heard shit, said that they were sat on the front of the top deck because they enjoyed the novelty of a double-decker bus. However, during the journey, she claims a gang of young men behind them saw that they were a couple and started to demand they kiss while making crude sexual gestures. Definitely does not sound like it's homophobic, does it? Melania said they wanted us to kiss so that they could watch us. I tried to defuse the situation as I'm not a confrontational person, telling them to please leave us alone as Chris wasn't feeling well. That must be the girl. The men, who were in their 20s or 30s, began throwing things at the couple, told them to stop during the attack. The men, who were in their 20s or 30s, began throwing things, and the couple told them to stop during the attack on Tuesday, 30th of May. Melania added, the next thing I remember was Chris in the middle of them, and they were beating her. I didn't think about it, and I went in, and I pulled her and tried to help defend her, so they started beating me up. I don't even know if I was knocked unconscious. I felt blood. I felt bleeding all over my clothes and all over the floor. We went downstairs and the police were there. Melania said there were at least 4 of them and one spoke Spanish while others had a British accent. The attackers also robbed the couple before fleeing the bus. Melania, who moved to the UK in February and is on a year sabbatical from her medical studies, says that she felt safe as a gay woman in London and was stunned by the attack. She released the pictures to the picture to raise awareness of violence against women and gay people. She's still waiting to find out if her nose was broken in the attack, which happened the following night. Following the night out at North London. Melania said, we're seen as entertainment. That's what makes me so angry. She added, what upsets me the most was the violence has become a common thing, that sometimes it's necessary to see women bleeding after having been punched to feel some kind of impact. I'm tired of being taken as a sexual object to find out that these situations are usually of gay friends who were beaten up or just because. I really don't think this whole beating a gay person is as commonplace as you think it is, darling. And also, if you are worried for your safety as a gay and lesbian couple, maybe you should be against importing the third world. I can't help notice one of them speaks Spanish. It's not like they were migrants or anything. Well, at least one of them was. What? Can you imagine? Just imagine if the UK gets its way. Imagine if the UK is flooded by people from Syria and those sort of countries. How safe do you think you are going to be when your country is swamped from people from Syria, Iraq, and all these sort of countries? Darling, they throw people like you off a roof. But anyway, we have to endure verbal harassment and chauvinist, misogynist, and homophobic views. You know, all the isms under the sun. Campaign group Stonewall pointed out that homophobic attacks were on the rise. They said that 16% of lesbians and gay and bisexual people had experienced a hate crime or incident in 2016. What do you mean by incident? But anyway, that compared to 9% in 2013, a raise of 78%. It's like when you start importing the third world and these sort of other countries into your culture, hate crimes suddenly rise, along with violent crimes and attacks. But regardless, Director of Campaigns, Policy and Research at Stonewall, Laura Russell, said this attack is an upset reminder of how much we still have to do for the LGBT equality. This is tempting to think of it in 2019, tempting to think that in 2019 we're safe from attacks like these, and indeed we all should be, but sadly this isn't the reality. They said the government research showed 2/3 of LGBT people avoided holding hands with their partner for fear of attack. Now, obviously, 4 teens have been arrested in the attack against... 4 teenagers arrested in the attack against lesbian couples on a London bus. So, 4 teenagers were arrested Friday for allegedly attacking and robbing a lesbian couple who said they were the victims of vicious homophobic assault on London bus after refusing demands to pair to kiss. This is still not homophobic, okay? If 4 guys are sitting there making crude gestures and trying to encourage 2 lesbians to kiss, I'm suddenly thinking it's not homophobic. But anyway, both women, Melania Garner and her girlfriend Chris, were left bruised and covered in blood. A photo posted to the Facebook page shows. Government said in a post that she and Chris were on a night, blah, blah, blah. The teenagers also described sexual positions and tossed coins at the women, Gomel wrote. In an attempt to calm things down, started making jokes. I thought this would make them go away. Chris even pretended she was sick, but kept on harassing us. So can we get to the description of what these guys were? So after the bus stopped, London police eventually showed up. Metropolitan said that in a press release Friday, and we have the press release, the alleged attackers were between 15 and 18-year-olds, so they were kids basically, and were arrested on suspicion of robbery, aggravated grievous bodily harm. They were taken to separate police stations for questioning, authorities said. Police Detective Superintendent Andy Cox condemned the assault as a disgusting attack. London Mayor Sadiq Khan, who has done absolutely nothing to solve the rampant problem of violence in his London city, mind you, that the hate crime against LGBT people will not be tolerated in London. Mind you, we're going to bring in a whole bunch of immigrants from a third world which want to throw gay people off roofs. So, you know, there's that. A cell phone and bag were stolen during the altercation, which was caught on surveillance camera. Authorities said both women, who were in their 20s, were taken to hospital for injuries to their face. Blah, blah, blah. They're not going to put up a photo of the kids, are they? Imagine my shock. Why not? Probably because they're underage, maybe. 4 males between the ages of 18 to 15 have been arrested today, Friday, at suspicion. The incident had probably 2:30 a.m. on Thursday, the 30th of May. CCTV footage from them has been reviewed by detectives, and we continue to appeal for information from the public, particularly those who were present on the bus before the attack, to come forward and tell the police what they saw. A number of active inquiries had traced individuals involved in the incident. Lots of people, understandably, by this attack. The attack of the nature is rare. No, they're not going to give out a description, are they? What do you guys reckon? Yeah, it's boys, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Boys that couldn't get a free show. That's all it was. Guys that have watched way too much porn and wanted to see 2 lesbians making out so they could get hard. That's what it was. I still can't find a photo of what these kids look like. I'm guessing they're probably not going to be white. Yeah, I can't find... It's funny because you type in lesbian couples on a London bus and it starts to get really interesting after the third line. Half of these photos I can't show you. But yeah, I can't find a description of what the guys look like, which does not surprise me. Maybe that's true too, Eric. Yeah, maybe they're underage. Yeah. Although, being London, what do you reckon the chances of these guys white are? Yeah, maybe. Anyway, obviously, look, presumably, I presume it'll all come out in the wash. But, yeah. A Kansas lady had found second AR DSH book. I'll have a look at that in a sec there, Pam. But yeah, I don't know. I'll be surprised if these guys were white. We know one of them spoke Spanish. I'm guessing they're migrants. London, one of them speaking a foreign language. Yeah. The fact that they're not putting up photos. If it had been a white kid or bunch of white kids, this would be all over the news. Like, oh my god, white crime, you know. Look at these terrible white males. Look what they've done. That's what it would be all over the news. But at the end of the day, yeah, regardless, like I say, regardless of what race they are or whatnot, you shouldn't be beating up lesbians because you can't get a free peep show. You shouldn't beat up lesbians full stop, period. Alright, I've got friends that are lesbians or gay or bisexual or whatever she wants to call herself. And, you know, like, it's her thing, you know. What her and her girlfriend do is entirely up to my imagination. I mean, sorry, it's up to their own responsibility. But yeah, look, I think this is just 4 kids that wanted a peep show, couldn't get it, so they started throwing money at her, and presumably one of them said something. One of the girls said something to the kids that provoked the situation a little bit worse. But regardless, you know, two lesbians should be able to drive on a bus or ride on a bus without fear of being bashed. It's absolutely insane. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below regarding this. Alright, so what Pam was saying before, met quotas in order to receive federal funds. At Kansas DHS, she had found children were taken to meet quotas and money was routed to Clinton Foundation. A Kansas lady had found the second AR DHS books. Oh, wow. Okay. That's interesting. That's really interesting, actually. So she was looking into, like, yeah, child trafficking, was she? Well, that'd be why she ended up dead. Anyway, alright, now we're going to talk about more illegal action. Alright, so one topic about illegals to another, well, presumably legals to another. Hundreds of illegal aliens from Ebola-stricken Congo dumped in the streets of San Antonio. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Hundreds of illegal aliens for Ebola-stricken Democratic Republic of Congo, were dumped in the street of San Antonio, Texas this week. The aliens don't speak English, and according to the local reporter, San Antonio is in desperate need for French-speaking volunteers. City confirms hundreds of migrants from the Congo have arrived in San Antonio, and the city is in desperate need for French-speaking volunteers, reported Jesuits of Ken's 5 San Antonio. Large groups of illegal aliens from Eritrea, Cumbria, and Ebola-stricken Congo were caught wandering across the San Antonio into the United States earlier this week. How did they get to Mexico? Who is funding the group of Africans? The video shows men and women and children crossing the river in the dead of the night. Border Patrol announced they apprehended 116 invaders from Africa on Thursday. Agents have encountered 128 large group, 100 plus individuals across the SW border this financial year. This is the first large group apprehended in Del Rey section of this FY financial year, and the first large group apprehended on the southwest border this financial year, consisting entirely of African nationals. We do actually have that video, and we will play that for you right now, presumably. So here you are, see him here. That looks like a guy, that looks like a woman, that looks like a guy. That looks like maybe a guy. Woman, maybe. That looks like it's someone walking up to him there. Look, at the end of the day, well, there's that too. Here's the problem, is they're coming from an area that is literally ravaged with Ebola right now. What do you think the chances of one of these Ebola victims making the trek and getting into the United States are? When Trump turns around and says we have a crisis at the border, this is what he's talking about. He's talking about a whole bunch of illegals who are just walking across the border, who are possibly carrying God knows what, or having God knows what medical problems. Like, all it takes is 2 or 3 of these, or even just one of these people carrying Ebola to get into Texas. Like, they haven't been able to stop the Ebola outbreak already that's in the Congo. Let me see if I can bring up the... Ebola. So here, this is the WHO, right? So this is the World Health Organization. This is their report on the Ebola outbreak. Now, I haven't read it, so there. So on the 1st of August 2018, the Ministry of Health and the Democratic Republic of Congo declared a new outbreak of Ebola virus disease in North Kivu province. The Ministry of Health, WHO, and partners are responding to this event and are working to establish the full extent of this outbreak. Numbers may fluctuate on a daily basis due to many factors, including continuing monitoring, investigation, and reclassification of cases. Alert and suspected cases are not reported here, and systematically investigated to confirm or exclude Ebola virus's disease before inclusion in the case. Right? So this is just cases that we know about. Right? This is confirmed cases of Ebola. Total cases is 2,031. They have 1,937 confirmed cases. Probable cases is 94. Deaths, there has been confirmed 1,273, and they are listing a probability of 94 deaths as well. Well, and this is ongoing. This Ebola situation is still not over yet. Like, see if I can find larger breaks. Ebola, the new norm. ISIS has claimed responsibility for an attack in the area of East Congo stricken by the second worst Ebola outbreak. So 4 days ago, it was over 2,000 cases. So in over 4 days, it's gone. No, in 2 days, it's jumped up 31 cases. Also, and these are confirmed cases, by the way. Yeah, I can't seem to find anything on a dime to show like the spread of it. So we can find an outbreak map or something. Here we go. Here's a map. Oh, that's 2017. Sorry, that's not the right one. 2019. Yeah, can't find anything very quickly, but yeah. George Soros involved in this? His NGOs are probably, yeah. I imagine they're from. See, this is so. Reports are that ISIS was thinking about using the US border, the southern border, to cross from Mexico into the US. And ISIS was actually going through and actually doing that, yes. They actually said that was their plan, was to cross into the US from the Mexico border. And this is what Trump turns around and says, for example. He turns around and says that we have a problem at the southern border. We don't know who's crossing. This whole Mexicans crossing the border is not actually accurate. The fact of the matter is that who's crossing the border is actually a wide range of people from different states and different countries and stuff like that. I think there was like 40-something countries or something. Different countries that cross the border. Um, 50 countries illegally enter the US. So immigrants from 50 countries, I'll put this up on the screen for you guys. Immigrants from 50 countries illegally enter the US border. Patrol officer. Illegal immigrants from 50 different countries, including China, Bangladesh, Turkey, Egypt, Romania, have been caught crossing the US from Mexico, a top border official testified Tuesday. People are traveling across the hemispheres to attempt to illegally enter the US using the same pathways as the Central Americans. Now, obviously, at the end of the day, you don't know who is crossing these borders, right? You could have members of ISIS, you could have anybody, right? Yeah, that's entirely true. And also, you're going to have people from some from some Central American countries as well. But it's actually a combination of over 50 different countries, not just, Mexico and Southern Central American countries. It's a wide range of them. The NGOs are responsible for it, yeah, definitely. But, and that's what Trump says, they have a problem down the border. We need to build the wall. He is entirely right. They need to build the wall. Because at the end of the day, it's just, yeah. I don't know. Hashtag build the wall, I suppose. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. National Parks quietly removes warning that glaciers will all be gone by 2020 after years of heavy snowfall. We might actually record this one too. We just might record them all. National Parks quietly removed warnings that glaciers will be gone by 2020 after years of heavy snowfall. The National Park Service, or NPS, quietly removed a visitor's centre sign saying the glaciers at the Glacier National Park will disappear by 2020 due to climate change. As it turns out, higher than average snowfalls in recent years upended the computer model predictions from early 2000s that NPS, or National Park Services, based its claim glaciers will be gone by 2020, federal officials say. So the glacier retreat in the Glacier National Park sped up was slowed down with fluctuations in the local climate. The U.S. Geological Survey, USGS, which monitors Glaciers National Park, told the Daily Caller News Foundation. Those signs were based on the observatory period of 2010 that glaciers were shrinking more quickly than computer models predicted, and they would, USGS said, subsequently, larger than average snowfalls over the recent winters slowed down that retreat rate at the 2020 date used in the NPS display does no longer more apply. NPS updated signs at the St. Mary Visitor Centre Glacier Exhibition over the winter. Signs change meant the display warning glaciers would all disappear by 2020 now says when they completely disappear. However, we depend on what when we act. The total area of the glacial parks and its ironic glaciers shrank 70% from the 1850s to 2015, according to the USGS. Melting began at the end of the so-called Little Ice, where scientists believe 146 glaciers covered the region, opposed to just 26 in 2019. USGS still says on its website glaciers could all disappear sometime between 2030 and 2080, depending on how much warming occurs. As recent years demonstrate, however, glacier melt can be slowed by heavy winter snowfall. The overall picture remains the same, however, the picture is that the glaciers all continue to retreat, USGS says. Blog Roger Roofs first noted this signage change in a blog post published Thursday on a website. What's up with that? Roots was able to compare the sign to film and photographs he had taken on previous visits. As recently as September 2018, the DeMorium displays the sign saying GNP's glaciers were expected to disappear completely by 2020, Groats wrote. That gone by 2020 claim were reprinted in the New York Times, National Geographic, and other international news sources. Rhodes has also noted another sign had been changed from 2030, had also been changed to more innocuous Roots put up a $5,000 bet that Glacier National Parks would still have glaciers in 2030. Almost everywhere in the park specifically claims the impending glaciers disappeared have been replaced with more nuanced messaging indicating that everyone agrees that glaciers are melting, wrote Wotes. Now the park services is scrambling to remove the signs without their visitors noticing, Roots posted on his Facebook wall, along with a video showing the sign change. The Park Service works closely with USGS to understand glacier melt, and the information puts information signs. NPS, however, does not notify the public when it adds or changes signs. The current 26 glaciers in the park scientific model projects that many will no longer melt to the size criteria used to define glacier somewhere between 2030 and 2080, NPS said in a statement to the Daily Caller News Foundation. Look, at the end of the day, is the planet warming up? Yes. It is. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's man-made. I think what we have is a natural cycle where it is going through, and it is literally just a natural cycle. It's just the someone was saying to me that the sun actually got hotter over the past few months. It went through like a unusual hot period for the past few years, and that's what's caused a lot of this global warming. Apparently the sun is now cooled down a bit. I've got to check that out yet, so don't at me if I'm wrong. But yeah, like I say, there are other reasons why glaciers melt and why the planet gets warmer. And at the end of the day, look, when the founder and the foundation leader of, for example, Greenpeace comes out and says that this is all a money-making scam and blah blah blah, I tend to get a little curious. This is Greenpeace leader and CEO, one of the founders of Greenpeace, coming out saying that global warming is nothing more than a scam to make money. Like, hey, why would he lie? This is a guy who's literally founded the organization, who literally fights for saving the environment. So, I don't know. I tend to believe him when he says that. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Someone says in chat, 76 says in chat, climate change is a habit of fluctuation. It's caused by Mother Nature, is a bitch like a woman and constantly changing her mind. Except me, I'm always lovely. Okay. We'll take your word for it. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Alright, Eli Mahar says it's un-American for ICE to detain illegal immigrants, especially the ones coming from Ebola victims, right? But anyway, ICE is requesting 500 beds from Chute County to detain immigrants, she wrote. It's un-American to criminalize immigrants for wanting to come to this country for a better life. That's why ICE needs to be defunded. Does she realize there is literally an Ebola outbreak happening down to the south of the American border right now? Obviously doesn't care about that. Ella Cummings' wife hit with the new allegations of self-dealing and perjury in an update IRS complaint. The wife of House Oversight Chairman Eli Cummings is facing new allegations of self-dealing and perjury following the disclosure of financial dealings between her charity and her for-profit consulting firm, according to an IRS complaint a watchdog group filed Friday in the response to the Daily Caller's Foundation report. Motion by shock. Fallout continues. 2012, Joe Biden said life began at conception. Oh, wow. Really, Joe? Let me see how you're going to backpedal on this one. The fallout from former Vice President Joe Biden's Hayden Amendment reversal continues with the resurfaced clip which shows Biden affirming the belief that life begins at the conception. I'm going to have to record this, aren't I? We should probably put this up on the internet. Alright. The fallout continues. 2012, Joe Biden said life began at conception. The fallout from the former Vice President Joe Biden's Hayden Amendment reversal continues with the resurfaced clip which shows Biden affirming the belief that life begins at conception during the 2012 debate. The Democrat forerunner faces immense backlash for reversing his previous position on the Hayden Amendment, the day after his campaign affirmed his continued support for it. So Donald Trump Jr. retweet, you meant the amendment he affirmed support for less than 48 hours ago. We do have a clip and we will play that for you guys right now.
The front runner among Democrats for the 2020 nomination just made big news on abortion Potentially very big news in his run for the White House. At a Democratic fundraiser in Atlanta just moments ago, he reversed himself on the law barring federal funding for abortion, known as the Hyde Amendment. He based his decision on his notion of fairness to women of all incomes.
I can't justify leaving millions of women without access to the care they need and the ability to exercise their constitutionally protected right. If I believe health care is a right, as I do, I can no longer support an amendment that makes that right dependent on someone's zip code.
Right, so there's the clip there, right? For years, the US Senator, I have supported the Hyde Amendment like many others have, Biden told the crowd at the I Will Vote gala Thursday. I have been struggling with the problems that Hyde now presents, he continued, adding that it would make no apologies for flip-flopping. I want to be clear that I make no apologies for my latest position. I make no apologies for what I am about to say, he said. I have a related story I want to bring up as well. Where'd I get up to? Sorry, here. Alright, sorry. If I believe healthcare is a right, I do so no longer support the amendment dependent on that makes the right to depend on someone's zip code, he continues. Conway, senior consultant to the president, went after Flip-Flop Joe on Tuesday on Twitter, questioning his stance on parental birth abortion. Following Biden's flip-flop on the Hyde, I wonder if he stands by his vote to ban partial birth abortions while in Senate, she tweeted. Conway also tweeted a clip of the 2012 Biden affirming the belief that life begins at conception. We'll play that for you guys in a sec. And we're just going to actually play that clip and let him speak.
Vice President Biden.
My religion defines who I am. And I've been a practicing Catholic my whole life. And it has particularly informed my social doctrine. Catholic social doctrine talks about taking care of those who can't take care of themselves, people who need help. With regard to abortion, I accept my church's position on abortion as what we call de fide doctrine. Life begins at conception. That's the church's judgment. I accept it in my personal life. But I refuse to impose it on equally devout Christians and Muslims and Jews, and I just refuse to impose that on others, unlike my friend here, the congressman. I do not believe that we have a right to tell other people that women, they can't control their body. It's a decision between them and their doctor. In my view, in the Supreme Court, I'm not going to interfere with that. With regard to the assault on the Catholic Church.
Okay, and it's just going to keep going on. To be honest, we're not quite sure what he believes because he's flip-flopping so much. It's probably going to depend on what day of the week it is. But no, yeah, apparently, obviously, this is his old stance. We're just showing that now, just for anybody that sits there and goes, no, it's not true. No, Joe Biden used to actually believe life begins at conception. Now, obviously, he doesn't. But, yeah, that was something that he used to believe. He's a flip-flopper. So like I said, that's old. So, yeah. But obviously, Alyssa Milano instrumental in Biden's flip-flop on Hyde Amendment. Far-left Hollywood actress Alyssa Milano reportedly helped persuade former Vice President 2020 White House frontrunner Joe Biden to flip-flop on his past support for the Hyde Amendment. So Joe Biden reversed course Thursday and declared that he no longer supports a long-standing congressional ban on using federal health care money to pay for abortions. The Atlantic reports Friday that people inside, in and out the Biden's campaign changed the White House hopefully over the views, prompting him to swiftly cave on his stance held for decades. Milano ignited the social media with a tweet last month calling for women to join her in a sex strike, which promptly she was laughed off the internet for, but anyway. Former star from Charmed and cast member of Netflix Insatiable, which was filmed in Georgia, urged women in her tweet to stop having sex until we get our body autonomy back. So in other words, abstinent works, but anyway. And blah, 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 blah. So apparently it's all Melissa Milano who's behind this. She's the one that's behind Biden. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's all her fault. Just blame her. Blame Melissa Milano. That's what we're going to do. She's the one responsible for it. So, yeah. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below regarding this. At the end of the day, I don't know, can you really trust anyone who flip-flops? Like, he changes his mind more than I change my underwear. You know. Do you trust that? Can you trust that? Or is he going to change his mind once again once he's in power? And is he only, maybe, you know, is he only appeasing his base? Is he only trying to get the far left views or the far left votes? Personally, I find this guy's centre left. Personally, I don't think he will back this in Congress. I reckon he'll stall, and he'll do what he can to when he's elected to not actually go through and do anything, because he's against it. He doesn't want to say he's against it because the far leftists won't vote for him. So he's trying to appease them. But, you know, what's going to happen if he gets elected? Well, you know, there's that, I suppose. Cross that bridge when we get to it, I suppose, is what the option is normally on that, isn't it? But guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Yeah, flip-flop is just someone who's just trying to pander to what he thinks. Yeah, I get that. And that's what I reckon it is. I reckon it's him pandering to them. But anyway. Red Elephant said Texas is going to go blue, and Biden presently outpolling Trump. Said it was proper poll like 2016 ones. Yeah. I don't think that's true. I don't think Texas will go blue. It's going to be close, but I don't think Texas will go blue. You got to remember too, at the end of the day, Trump is booting out a whole bunch of illegal immigrants. And they're ones that would vote for Democrats. So they're losing their voting base. Because, well, Trump's literally deporting them because, well, they're illegal. So, yeah. I don't know. Bipartisan congressional pay rise was in the works, and then Republican group blasted the Democrats. Members of Congress are working on a way to give themselves a pay rise, but were put on blast by the National Republican Congress Committee, NRCC, even after top Republicans said they were considering the rise to their salaries. House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy and House Minority Whip Steve Scalise and many other Democrats reportedly supported a $4,500 pay rise to their current $1,704 salaries. According to Politico, however, the NRCC pushed back, attacking Democrats in an email for suggesting they make more than 3 times the average American salary just isn't enough. Newly released FBI docs reveal property... We're going to have to record this one, aren't we? God damn it. Alright. How convenient. Newly released FBI docs reveal property relating to Hillary Clinton's use of private server is now missing. The FBI once again lost property relating to the investigation into Hillary Clinton's private email server. Gee, isn't that weird? The SA, or special agents, looking through all the case material in the CL13 file and workbooks, area, however, were not able to locate this item. The FBI doc reads, as such, WFO, or Washington Field Office, considers the item missing and will enclose the document into 1A20 as a placeholder until the item is located. We lost the receipt of property relating to Hillary Clinton's Blackberries and iPads. Which is weird because it had the IMEs on it. But don't worry, we have backups, I suppose. Recalled last month, the FBI lost notes from the August 2015 meeting with the Intelligence Committee Inspector about General Hillary's private server, according to the new FBI docs released. According to the FBI docs released relating to the investigation of Hillary Clinton private server, special agents have been gathering and copying material in response to Judicial Watch FISA lawsuit and stumbled across some missing notes. How convenient. The February 2019 email from special agents reveals that a CD or containing material and notes from an August 2015 meeting with the ICIG was damaged. Therefore, the information is considered missing. On or about February 6, 2019, SA opened redacted Cyber 1A27, which contained a CD with a crack on it as a damaged CD. SA attempted to copy the damaged CD at the WFO, or Washington Field Office, Computer Analysis Response Team, CART, self-service area, but was not able to do so, the email reads. Since the CD was cracked, FBI IT specialists indicate it was unlikely the CD could be copied. The notes from this meeting are also missing. So the FBI has revealed that the CD containing material about their meeting with the ICIG is damaged, and the notes about the meeting are also missing, and now property, maybe Hillary's Blackberries, are missing as well. It's funny how all this information just seems to be missing right about now, doesn't it? The FBI is supposed to be our premier law enforcement agency. Let that sink in. The FBI released 33 last month, part 33 on Friday. Click here to read the 33 part of 33 from the FBI vault. What do you guys reckon it's weird that, it just seems to be that some of the information regarding her, obviously another sort of flow-on story from that. FBI docs show Hillary Clinton's lawyer telling the DOJ they don't have consent to double-check data on Levo hard drives before destruction. Buried in the documents is an email from Hillary Clinton's lawyer, David Kessler, boasting about the Justice Department. Crooked Hillary's lawyer emailed the Justice Department in April of 2016, shortly before Hillary became the Democrat nominee for president, and told the DOJ they do not have consent to double-check the data from 2 Leonard hard drives before destruction. This letter confirms that the pursuant of our discussion, Williams & Collery LLP has provided to the Department of Justice to WNC hard drives, Samsung Levo 256 gig hard drives, and a Samsung Lino 128 gig hard drive with the drives for the sole purpose of destruction. David Callender wrote. The drives each containing a copy of the data that WNC had previously provided to the Justice Department, as well as other WNC attorney-client privilege and attorney working produced materials. Pursuant to our agreement, WC has deleted all the data from the drives prior to providing them to the department. We understand that once the drives has been destroyed, you will provide us confirmation of the facts. For avoidance of doubt, this letter does not provide any consent to search the drives prior to the destruction. So there you have it. Hillary Clinton's lawyer are allowing the Department of Justice what they can and cannot search, and can claim attorney-client privilege. Yet Donald Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen, was raided by the FBI, and attorney-client attorney-client privilege be damned. The State Department actually banned Leno due to Chinese hacking. So, yeah, I find it really, really weird. You know, she's not allowing the FBI access to drives to double-check some data. You know, other stuff is missing. You know, it must really be hard, Hillary Clinton, having all these friends in the deep state. Meanwhile, Trump, who's seemingly an outsider, seems to have none of the same protections that Hillary Clinton has. You know, when Trump says drain the swamp, he really does mean drain the swamp. But I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below regarding that. Personally, I think it's a lot of crap, to be honest. But anyway. Alright, so this is probably going to be the last story for the day. Second last story, actually. Trump reached deal with Mexico to stem the tide of immigration. Tariffs have suspended. So another win for Trump. We must be getting sick of winning by now. It would appear that Trump's tariffs threat worked. Mexico has agreed to strong measures to stem the tide of immigration through Mexico to our southern border, Trump wrote. That didn't load properly, did it? Here we go. US makes deal with Mexico on terrorist immigration, Trump's announced. The US has reached an agreement with Mexico that heads off the start of tariffs. That heads off the start of tariffs on Monday. The deal announced by President Trump via Twitter on Friday night said that it includes plans to return immigrants seeking asylum to Mexico, where they will remain until their claims can be processed. I am pleased to inform you the United States of America has reached and signed agreement with Mexico. The tariffs scheduled to be implemented by the US on Monday against Mexico are hereby indefinitely suspended, he said. Mexico, in turn, has agreed to take strong measures to stem the tide of immigration through Mexico to our southern border. This is done to greatly reduce or eliminate illegal immigration coming from Mexico and into the United States. Details of agreement will be released shortly after by the State Department. Trump had taken a tough position towards Mexico earlier in the day, tweeting that if unable to make a deal, Mexico will begin paying tariffs at 5% level on Monday. Mexico was able to avoid these tariffs on farms, agricultural products, according to Trump's announcement. Mexico promised to deploy its National Guard through Mexico, particularly at the border, increase its actions and dismantle human trafficking operations to smuggle individuals across the border, and take extra steps to coordinate with the American government to share information and better protect and secure our common border, according to a statement from the State Department. Even members within Trump's party had, in the days leading up to Friday's announcement, even Trump's party had, in the days leading up to Trump's announcement, advised Trump against imposing tariffs on Mexico, warning of the calamity it could cause for both nations' economies. Also of concern, the possibility of hindering a trade with Mexico and Canada. Trump was proposing a 5% tariff on Mexican goods, which would increase up to 25% every month, potentially harming American consumers and manufacturers who purchased $378 billion worth of Mexican imports in 2018. Some Democrats responded with ire, even in the wake of the New Deal. One was 2020 president candidate Beto O'Rourke, who tweeted, "The damage of Trump's reckless trade policies and tariffs has already been done. What we will see yet is another example of him trying to be both arsonist who creates this problem in the first place and the firefighter who wants to credit for addressing it," which is absolutely false. This is the best move by Trump. This is a really, really smart move. He turns around and he says to Mexico, stop your immigrants, stop the immigrants coming from your country, break up all this human trafficking, deploy your National Guard on your border, stop the immigrants coming into our country, and we won't tax you to the hilt. So Mexico turns around and says, okay, we'll do it. This is a really good idea from Trump, and it works. This is not him making fires and then trying to put them out. This is him trying to put out one big fire, which is immigration, which is what the Democrats don't want. They want a whole bunch of immigrants coming into the US because at the end of the day, they're going to vote for them, which is why we're seeing record numbers of immigrants coming into the border right up to when we're coming into an election. Big freaking surprise. Nonetheless, Republican leader Kevin Brady of the White House and the Means Committee congratulated Trump on the agreement, calling it a strong win for Texas and America, which will also stop Texas from going blue as well. It's a good thing. It works. So, good on Trump for doing it. I really don't have a problem with this. Alright, so it's not all good news. Bad news for Trump, or bad news for some Americans. Under Trump, arms deal, high-tech US bombs to be built in Saudi Arabia. Washington, a controversial arms deal for Arab allies approved by Trump administration will allow US high-tech bomb parts to be manufactured in Saudi Arabia, giving Raji unprecedented access to sensitive weapons technology. I really think this is a bad idea, but anyway. The production agreement is in part of a large $8.1 billion arms package for Saudi Arabia. The United Emirates and Jordan announced 2 weeks ago the Trump administration pressed ahead with the sale without congressional approval, declaring an emergency based on what is said of the heightened threat from Iran. The deal came as a surprise to lawmakers who were outraged that the administration chose to bypass Congress, but most of the members of Congress only learnt days after the deal was announced on May 24th that it opens the door for Saudi Arabia to host the production of electric guidance and controlled systems of pathway precision guided bombs, congressional aides said. Lawmakers are expected to grill a senior State Department official, Clark Cooper, Assistant Secretary of State for Politically Military Affairs, about the arms deal, bomb production plant, and the House Foreign Affairs Committee hearing on Wednesday. The US government tends to closely guard technology linked to the sophisticated weapons, limits how much of that technology is shared through cooperative projects with other countries. This is a very long article. Let's keep going with a little bit more of it. Look, at the end of the day, actually, my view on this is it's bad. You don't want, for a start, look, you don't want your enemies, so to speak, or other countries making your bombs, okay? I would much rather Trump get these bombs made in America. Go through, make jobs in America, make America great, make America first. And at the end of the day, I really do think that if you are going to build bombs, and I don't like them building them, but if they are going to build them, they should be built in the US of A. Hell, you can even go through and engrave "Made in the USA" on the side of the thing, for all I care. But at the end of the day, I really am against, like, obviously this is just talking about parts, but at the end of the day, I really do think that he should be getting these sort of bombs made in the USA. I don't think they should be getting some country like Saudi Arabia. We know they're going to steal the technology. They are going to go through and they're going to make their own bombs based on the blueprints that they get from Trump. Even if it's only parts. Say it's the guidance chips or something like that. That at the end of the day, that's one part they still don't have. Even if you do, you know, like subject of the labor or whatever it's called, where you split it up into sections. All they have to do is get the sections together and they can build their own bombs. And at the moment, we're already seeing Saudi Arabia blowing the shit out of Yemen. What do you think they're going to do with guided bombs and other sort of weapons of mass destruction that the US is going to let them build. They're going to blow up a whole bunch of civilians, which is generally why I'm against it. Look, come on, a Muslim country with a bunch of bombs, is anybody stupid? Like, really? They want to kill everybody else as much as they want to kill everybody. I mean, even themselves, even their own religion. There's warring fractions between these 4 groups or 4 different sections or sects of Islam. You want to go giving one of them bombs? Obviously, this is going to benefit Saudi Arabia because at the end of the day, they're running low on oil. They've realized they can't keep selling oil to the world. They need another source of income and they want to become an arms dealer. This is why they're going through and buying a whole bunch of military equipment from the US. We'll buy a whole bunch of your military equipment. You let us build the military equipment. You know, that's what they want. They want to become the arms dealer of Europe, of Middle East. This is the country that has more human right violations than anybody else I know of. Like, this is literally the company that, the country that still is listed as a human rights law. Like, oh my God, and you're going to go giving them bombs, Trump. What are you doing? Even the fact you should be getting Americans to build this. Build your own stuff. And this is what I wish Australia would do. At the end of the day, I wish Australia would build their own military stuff as well. Build your own stuff, everything. I brought, just recently, I brought a range hood, cooktop, oven, and a dishwasher. And I tell you now, none of it's made in Australia. Like, I could probably go and check, but I'm guessing it's going to be China or Taiwan. Like, big friggin' surprise. Because the Democrats are promising them free everything. Oh, okay, yeah. But at the end of the day, yeah, look, at the end of the day, it's a bad idea. It really is a bad thing. But, I don't know. We'll see what happens, I suppose. But, I don't know. Do you guys trust Saudi Arabia building bombs? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Alright, guys, and that's basically where we're going to leave today's show. We're going to end it on a happy note. Yeah. But yeah, apart from that, guys, I have to go back to bed because I have to get up for work in a few hours. So I want to go and have a little bit of a nappy. Apart from that, guys, obviously, I'm going to try and do a video over the weekend. I don't know what it's going to be about yet. There's something in Australia that journalists are getting arrested for talking about because it's dealing with government corruption. So maybe talk about that because, you know, hey, I haven't been arrested lately. If it's not that, it may be about the Vox Apocalypse, although I've sort of already done a video on that, really. Julian Assange, maybe. I don't know, we've pretty much got all the information out on that. I don't know. Let me know. Guys, let me know in Discord or in comments if you have any suggestions of what videos you'd like me to do over the weekend. If there's a video that needs to be done, let me know. Apart from that, I might just sort of keep my ear to the ground and just see what comes out. Apart from that, guys, a big shout out to everybody who has been here throughout the whole day. Eric has been here mostly the whole day, I think. Antrak's been here, 76. Phil, seen you in chat once or twice. TJ was in here. Pam was in here for a little bit. I'm not sure if she still is. Unfiltered Opinions was here. Def Nif. I love the name, by the way. But obviously without you guys, this channel would be nothing. So big shout out to everybody who does watch these videos. Even if you're watching them later. If you want to help the channel grow, obviously the best thing to do is just to share these videos on all social media. Social like Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, whatever it may be. Especially Reddit. If there's any political discussions on Reddit, posted them in there. Apart from that, guys, obviously I'll be uploading the smaller sections later today. So hopefully they'll go through for you guys. I forgot to do it yesterday and I fell asleep. But yeah, apologies. But apart from that, guys, I will see you guys at the very latest. My Tuesday, your Monday. Love you guys. Have a great night, everybody. Enjoy and stay safe, everybody.